What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Halito by High Country News. I'm Michael Leveton, the Community Outreach Manager over here at HCN. Let's just get right into it. So lots of black folks are moving to Phoenix. In a collab with Capital B News, Adam Mahoney tells us how large numbers of black Americans are moving to the South, usually drawn by lower costs of living and the safety of living in established black communities. We hear the stories of families who moved to South Phoenix after experiencing racism and negative interactions with the police in nearby suburbs, such as Scottsdale. South Phoenix has one of the fastest growing black populations in the West. The demographics of the city have been shaped by over a century of redlining policies, including a policy that, all the way up until the 1960s, prevented black Americans from living or even visiting northern parts of the city. And in traditional American fashion, historically black neighborhoods are the most underserved, ignored, and polluted. Neighborhoods in South Phoenix are no exception. They're dotted with industry and scrapyards, something the northern NIMBY neighborhoods would likely never tolerate. And of course, this inequality is exacerbated by climate change. Phoenix is not only the fourth fastest warming city in the U.S., but it's also the fifth worst for air quality and has had the fifth largest drop in life expectancy since 2020. But as our next story shows, if you happen to have money and access to resources, climate change can just merely be an inconvenience. Sarah Tory takes us to the nearby Rio Verde foothills, a suburb of Scottsdale. It's an affluent community with cheap land, good schools, nice views. But apparently, just not a stable water supply. Turns out there are just no municipal water pipes out that way. In the year of our Lord 2023, how the hell are we building bourgeois subdivisions without a water supply? Through a loophole in land development laws, of course. So it's not technically legal to build a house without a water supply in Arizona. Land developers have to secure a 100-year water supply for each new house in a subdivision. But if you develop a property with fewer than 6 lots, you are not subject to the water supply requirement. And because capitalism is exploitative, developers are, you guessed it, developing a ton of small subdivisions. But as we already said, money solves everything. So 25 to 35% of the residents literally pay for trucks to just bring in water from nearby Scottsdale. Well, last month, Scottsdale cut off the water exports, so Tory sat down to discuss what the future of water access might look like in the area. So it seems like this would be a really good and obvious opportunity to become water independent. Maybe develop some local water supplies, like a community well, for example. Or you could just say, F it and pay more to ship in water from even farther away. You'll have to read the story to figure out which one the residents chose. And since we can't stop talking about water, let's ride along with reporter Jeremy Miller to the Salinas River Valley, which has seen massive flooding in recent weeks. Torrential downpours brought on by a series of atmospheric rivers dropped an estimated 30 trillion gallons of precipitation across California. We go to San Miguel, which is an agricultural community that sits at the end of the California aqueduct. It's one of the most water vulnerable places in the entire state, in part because of climate change, and in part because the Salinas River, which is the only major natural water source in the area, has been sucked dry by agriculture. Miller discusses the historical significance of the river for communities and agriculture, and how the river's particular geography means it is often overlooked as an important water source and underappreciated as a natural feature. You can catch those 3 stories and a whole lot more over at hcn.org. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at High Country News, and also check out our friends over at Capital B News. And as always, take care and stay safe out there, y'all.